everyone, and welcome back to the Apache Kafka for the Beginners series. So, in the earlier lecture, I talked about the five core components of Kafka ecosystem, and already we have covered the first three, that is Kafka Broker, Kafka Client, and Kafka Connect. So, these three items are help you to create a simplified and and manageable data integration solution. The next two topic, that is Kafka Streams and K SQL, these two things will take you to the Kafka implementation beyond the data integration and allow you to create a scalable and fault tolerance real-time stream processing application. So in this lecture, we will mostly focus on Kafka streams, and here I will be explaining the core concept of Kafka stream. So if you learn something new like from this lecture, then please hit the like button and also subscribe the channel so that it will bring a motivation to me to create such lectures for you. So let's go ahead and let's first see what is the agenda of this lecture. So basically we are going to discuss what is real time stream processing, what is Kafka, what is Kafka architecture, and how it is working. So, without having much delay, let's go ahead and let's start with the very first question, that is, what is real time streaming processing? I guess you already have some idea about it. But to cement the idea in your brain, let's quickly highlight a few things. So, in Apache Kafka, the time stream processing means that processing continuously streams of data immediately as the data is generated without waiting for entire data set to be stored first. So here we are not storing the data. Basically, as the data comes in, we stream the data, we process the data. That is real-time streaming processing. So instead of processing data in a batches, maybe every few minutes or hours, Kafka process it event live, one by one as they arrive, right? So, first and the most important thing is to understand that data streams are an unbound, infinite, and ever growing sequence of data that is continuously generated and sent in a small size in order, maybe in like a KBs. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see some of the example so that you will get the more idea. For example, I can say sensors. So sensors are used for sending the data from transportation vehicles or from the industrial equipment, healthcare devices, or like wearable things. So sensors are one of the example where we use the live streaming processing, because as the sensor picks up the data, it simply stream it, it simply process it. So sensors are one of the example. Another example can be log entries. It is generated by mobile app, web application, infrastructure components, right? And another example may be the click entries, where where it generated by e-commerce applications, maybe news, media website, or like video streamings, online gamings. And also the another example can be transactions where are coming from the stock markets, credit card, ATM machines, debit card, e-commerce orders, maybe payment or logistic or food deliveries. So these are the some of the common example for the stream processing. And another, data feed, for example, in social media activities we know, right? And the traffic activities and the security and the threat system. So list is endless, because if you look around, you are going to realize that pretty much everything can be seen as a sequence of smart data packets, and these are unbounded, means infinite and ever growing. So once it started, they never ends, right? Now we have the challenge to process them. So that is the bigger challenge. How you are going to process it. So one common approach is to collect and store them in a storage system. Then you can do two things with that. First, query the data to get the answer to a specific question. This is what we know as a request response approach and usually handled through a S equals. This approach is all about asking one question at a time and getting the answer to the question as quickly as possible. But the second approach is to create one big job to find the answer to a bunch of queries and schedule the job to run at a regular interval. So this can be the another approach. So this approach is all about asking a bunch of questions at once and repeating the question maybe every hour or maybe every day. And this approach is known as batch processing. But we are talking about the stream processing, right? So stream processing is a continuous process and the business reports are updated continuously based on the data available till time. So as we receive more data, the reports are updated and refreshed with a new information in a live. However, under the hood, you might be doing same usual operations as joining two streams, grouping your data, computing aggregators, and other ordinary things which we usually do with the streams of data. And that do in a database queries and the batch processing system. So after all, stream processing is also a data processing work, right? So we do it in a continuous and ongoing process. So now the question is this: can we use database or the batch processing system to perform the stream processing? Because stream processing sits between these two things, right? So so the answer is yes and no. Technically, it is possible to use database and a batch system do a stream processing. So answer is yes. I mean, however, dealing with the data in a real time using those system is going to make your solution too complex. And also there are some new concepts and considerations which are going to make your work more difficult. So basically we need tools that is specifically designed for stream processing, and Kafka Stream is exactly what you might be looking for. Okay, so you might be wondering about this question: can we do using Kafka Producer, Consumer, or Kafka Connect? So we are going to need Kafka Stream. So the point is this: real time stream processing is not as straightforward as the data integration. So all the other threes like Kafka Producer, Kafka Consumer, and Kafka Connect, which we have seen in our previous lecture, are used for data integration. But now, if we have to do a data stream, then we need a Kafka stream for that. So real-time stream processing is not straightforward. It poses some new challenges, and you cannot solve those problems using tools that were designed to address deep data integration problem. I mean, Kafka Producer, Consumer, and Kafka Connect. They are not an answer for stream processing. That is for SEO. Okay, so that is for integration problems. But if we have to go with a stream processing, then you have to use Kafka Stream. So that will solve your requirement. And here, what's the Kafka Stream all is about, and it come into the picture, right? So now the next question is, what is Kafka Stream and how it solves the stream processing challenges? This is very important, and I think you should know this, right? Because now we know that for stream processing we need Kafka Stream. So you should know what is Kafka Stream and how it is going to help you to solve this requirement for you. So at the most basic level, if I go, streams is a library for building applications and microservices where the input data are streamed in a Kafka topic. So you cannot use Kafka Stream if your data is not coming to a Kafka topic. So to stream the data using a Kafka stream, first the data should be come into the Kafka topic, and from that you can pick up, right? So the starting point for the Kafka stream is one or more Kafka topics, right? Now, the most powerful feature of the Kafka stream is being simple library. So you can create a standard Java and Scala applications to perform real-time stream processing. And you can deploy your application to any machine. It can be like virtual machine, container, or Kubernetes cluster. So your application is just another typical application with inherent parallel processing capabilities with a fault tolerance and scalability. which is given to you by the Kafka Streams library as an out of box. Okay. So other than this, Kafka Streams library is a specifically designed for sole purpose of stream processing. That is what we are going to see. So it allows you to handle those unique streams challenges. So let's see some of the list where the most critical capabilities like working with stream tables and interpolative with them. I mean, you can mix and match your solution with streams and tables, which you can even convert a stream of a table and vice versa. Okay. And it also allows you to group your streams and compute continuously, updating the aggregates. So basically, you can join streams, tables, and combination of both. You can create and manage the fault tolerance and efficiently local state storage. And also you can create windows of different type and dealing with all the time domains complexity such as event time, processing time, and high watermark and exactly one processing, etc. So it also allows you to serve other microservices using the request response interface over and above your stream application. So this feature is also known as Kafka Stream Interactive Query. So it gives you a set of tools for unit testing your application. The library gives you an easy to use DLS and also offer flexibility to extend and create your custom processor beyond what is provided by Stream, like Kafka Stream. So you can get inherited like fault tolerance and like dynamic scalability. With this, you can deploy your stream processing application in a container and manage them in a Kubernetes cluster. So these are the some of the Kafka stream processing which you can use in your application for your use case requirement. So let's move to the next question, and the concluding question is how it works. So Kafka stream architecture. So Kafka Stream is all about continuously reading a stream of data from one or more Kafka topic, which we have seen earlier, right? And then you develop your application logic to process those stream in a real time and take necessary actions. Okay, so let's take an example. So assume that you created a Kafka Stream application and deployed it on a single machine, right? Your application will be running here. Now imagine that your Kafka Stream application is continuously consuming the data from two topic, that is topic 1 T1 and topic 2 T2. I'm not going into the functionality of your application, but it might be monitoring maybe the traffic data or maybe the patient vitals or maybe continuously checking some thresholds, okay, and sending back the alerts when the threshold break, right? This is your application working. So here we are trying to understand the scalability and the fault tolerance of your simple and tiny application. So you deploy your application on a single machine. Now the Kafka streams will internally creates the three logical tasks because the maximum number of partitions across the input topic T1 and T2 are 3. Okay. So here you can see the partition 1, partition 2, partition 3. Okay. So the Kafka Streams framework knows that you can create three consumers where each could be consuming from one partition in a parallel. So the most exciting part is you don't have to code this anything. Out of box, the framework will do for you. So framework is very smart. It will smartly detect the partition in the topic and then it will create the three logical tasks: task 1, task 2, task 3. Okay. So the next step is to assign the partitions to this task. So in this case, the Kafka framework could allocate the partitions evenly. Okay. This is one partition from each topic to each task, like this. So partition 1 will go to task 1, partition 2 will go to task 2, partition 3 will go to task 3, and then in for topic 2 again partition 1 will go to task 1, partition 2 task 2, and partition 3 task 3. So in this case you can see Kafka framework could allocate the partition evenly distribution. This is one partition for each topic for each task. And at the end of this assignment, every task will have two partition to process in a parallel. So now these tasks are ready to assign to application threads or instance. Okay, I hope you got this diagram till here. So if you configured the application to run two thread, okay, now let's say if you configure to run on a two thread, Kafka could assign one task to each thread, and the remaining third task will go to the one of these threads, because you don't have yeah because you don't have any other thread. So in this case the task distribution is not even. The thread running two tasks might run slow, however all tasks could be running and ultimately all data will be processed. You might be wondering why I said to configure the application to run with a two thread. Here you heard it right. You can make your coffee the streams become a multi-threaded application by simply setting a number of maximum thread. It is that simple. So as of now you will have one application instance running on a single machine and sharing the workload in two parallel threads. Okay, so now imagine you want to scale out your application. Okay, so we decided to start another instance with a maybe the single thread on a different machine. So new thread like thread 3, okay, thread 3 will come into the picture, or it will be created, and one task could automatically migrate from above to in the thread 3. Okay, so this happens automatically and this is known as task reassignment. When the task reassign occurs, task partitions and their corresponding local state stores are also migrate from existing task to the new task thread. As a result, Kafka Streams has efficiently rebalancing the workload among the instance to the application, and this is done behind the hood with the framework. There is nothing you can do for this. Okay, this is very good thing that all this happens automatically and without stopping or restarting your application. So if the new thread is added, then the task will rebalance, reassign, and distributed among the threads. So what if we wanted to add even more instance to the same application? Well, you can do it, but they will be doing nothing. Why? Because we have only three tasks, which is equal to the number of available input partition to read from. So adding more instance beyond that point is over like provision with the ideal instance. So that instance will go ideal because there is no much task there. But of course if there will be more task, and in that task if there will be more partition, then those instance will be useful. Okay, so let's see about the fault tolerance. So what happens if an active instance dies? Let's say if the machine 2 instance got died or goes down. So Kafka Stream is out of box for tolerance thing. If a tasker runs on a machine that fails, the Kafka Stream automatically restart the task in one of the remaining running state. So the task 3 will move to the other machines into the other thread will be picked that task. So as a result, failure handling is entirely transparent to the end user and it is taken care by the framework itself, right? So this is how the fault tolerance is handled, and this is handled internally behind the hood by the framework itself. So this is how the Kafka stream works, and this is how the Kafka framework is very much smart to handle all these situations. So there you don't need to write anything, just you have to install the Kafka stream and it is ready for you to do the stream processing. Yeah, so like I hope you learn something new from this lecture, and if you learn something new, then please hit the like button and also subscribe the channel, so it will help me to motivate to create such more lectures for you which will be helpful